Welcome to my channel, where knowledge meets stillness. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, cool and fresh, and as you exhale, let the weight of your shoulders drop, let the muscles in your face soften. Imagine that the room around you is dissolving into the soft, damp shadows of a forest at midnight. The world outside can be busy and loud, but here, things slow down. This is a quiet place where curious minds can drift off to sleep. Tonight, we are not looking at the stars. We are looking down. We are stepping into the most overlooked miracle of our planet, the ground beneath your feet. We often think of the soil as something static, something dirty, or simply a floor for our lives. But the truth is far more magical. Reach down in your mind and imagine picking up a single teaspoon of healthy, dark earth. In that small, humble amount of matter, there is more life than there are people on the entire planet Earth. 8 billion humans on the surface, but billions upon billions of organisms in the palm of your hand. It is a bustling, microscopic civilization that never sleeps, and yet, it moves with a silence that is profound. As you lie there, feel your body becoming heavy, as if you are gently sinking into a bed of soft, cool earth. The earth is not cold, it is teeming with the warmth of life. In this teaspoon of soil, there are the bacteria, the oldest residents of our world. They are the master chemists. They breathe nitrogen into the earth, they break down the old to create the new. They are the silent recyclers of existence. Then, there are the fungi. Not just the mushrooms we see above ground, but the vast, delicate webs of mycelium. They look like silver silk threads, finer than a human hair, stretching for miles through the darkness. They are the internet of the forest. They carry messages between trees, they transport sugar to a dying sapling, they ensure that no plant is truly alone. Imagine those silver threads now, pulsing with a soft, rhythmic light. They are weaving a blanket of connection beneath you. You are part of this network. You are supported, you are connected. The science of the soil is a science of balance. If the soil were too dry, the life within it would go into a deep, protective sleep. If it were too wet, it would suffocate. But in the perfect, damp harmony of a healthy forest, it is a masterpiece of biology. There are protozoa, tiny hunters that navigate the water films between grains of sand like whales in a vast, dark ocean. There are nematodes, ancient, transparent creatures that have survived every mass extinction the earth has ever known. Everything in this teaspoon has a purpose. Every movement is a contribution to the life of the planet. Can you smell the earth now? That specific, sweet, musky scent that rises after a rain. Scientists call it geosmin. It is produced by a certain type of soil bacteria called actinomycetes. Human beings are more sensitive to the smell of geosmin than sharks are to the smell of blood in the water. Our ancestors evolved to find this scent because it meant water, it meant life, it meant a place where we could finally rest. Let that scent of geosmin fill your mind now. It is the smell of safety. It is the smell of the earth promising to take care of you. Beneath your bed, beneath the floor, beneath the concrete of the city, this secret universe is thriving. It is breaking down stones into minerals, it is turning fallen leaves into gold. It is the foundation of every flower that has ever bloomed, every fruit you have ever tasted, and every breath of oxygen you take. As you drift closer to sleep, visualize the soil closing around your worries. Let the bacteria break down your stresses, turning them into nothingness. Let the mycelium carry away your racing thoughts, dispersing them into the vast, quiet network of the forest. You are not separate from the earth. You are made of the same minerals that the fungi harvest. You are animated by the same spark of life that moves the microscopic hunters. The teaspoon of soil is a mirror. It shows us that even in the smallest, most hidden places, there is infinite complexity and infinite peace. The forest floor is quiet now. The billions of tiny lives are doing their work so you don't have to. The earth is breathing. Slowly. Deeply. And so are you. If you appreciate these quiet journeys, you can support my work at the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Sleep now, in the warm, hidden kingdom of the soil. Deeply. Sunk. Resting. Imagine the walls of your room expanding, stretching out until they become the horizon of a vast, ancient desert. We are traveling now to the racetrack playa in Death Valley, California. A place where time feels like it has forgotten to move. This is a dry lake bed, as flat as a tabletop, surrounded by dark, purple mountains that watch over the valley in eternal silence. The ground beneath you is a mosaic of dried, cracked mud, forming millions of small, hexagonal tiles. It is one of the quietest places on the planet. And yet, in this absolute stillness, there is a mystery that has baffled scientists for nearly a century. The sailing stones. Imagine a rock, a heavy, solid piece of dolomite, weighing hundreds of pounds. Now, look behind it. Etched into the hard clay is a long, winding trail. Some trails are hundreds of feet long. Some are perfectly straight, others turn at sharp, impossible angles. For decades, no human eye had ever seen these stones move. No footprints were ever found around them, no animal tracks, nothing but the stones and their solitary journeys. As you lie there, feel the weight of your own body against the mattress. Like these stones, you are grounded, you are safe. You don't need to hurry. You don't need to force your way through life. The stones teach us that even the heaviest things can move when the time is right, when the universe provides the perfect conditions. The science behind this movement is a delicate and beautiful symphony of the elements. It requires a rare alignment of rain, ice, sun, and wind. First, the playa must receive a very thin layer of water from a winter storm. Just enough to make the clay slick and slippery, like oil on glass. Then, as the desert night plunges into freezing temperatures, a thin sheet of ice begins to form. But it isn't a thick, solid block of ice. It is what scientists call windowpane ice, as thin as a sheet of paper, fragile and floating on a shallow film of liquid water. As the morning sun rises over the mountains, it begins to melt the ice, breaking it into large, floating panels. And then, the wind arrives. Not a gale, not a storm, just a steady, light breeze. The wind pushes the large sheets of ice, and the ice, acting like a gentle hand, nudges the heavy stones. Because the mud below is so incredibly slick, the stones begin to glide. Imagine this movement now, in slow motion. The stone doesn't roll, it doesn't tumble. It sails. A slow, rhythmic crawl across the mud. Millimeter by millimeter. The sound is a faint, crystalline scraping, the music of ice touching rock. It is a journey of patience. Feel that sense of effortless movement in your own mind. Your worries are like those stones on the playa. During the heat of the day, they feel stuck, unmovable, heavy. But now, in the coolness of the night, the ice is forming, the ground is becoming smooth. The gentle wind of your breath is pushing them away. They are sliding into the distance, leaving behind trails that will eventually be washed clean by the next rain. Nature doesn't rush. The stones might wait 10 years for the perfect night to move just 10 feet. They understand that there is a season for everything. A season to stay still, and a season to glide. Think of the incredible persistence required for such a journey. To move without legs, to travel without a voice. The racetrack playa is a temple of silence. It teaches us that stillness is not the absence of life, but the preparation for movement. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine the playa at midnight. The wind has died down. The ice has settled. The stones are resting in their new positions, content. Silent. The vast desert sky is a dome of velvet blue. The stars are so close you could almost reach out and touch them. You are a traveler in this silent landscape. Your body is heavy. Your mind is as flat and peaceful as the dry lake bed. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. You are grounded. You are safe. The silence of the desert is now the silence of your room. The stones have found their rest. And now, it is time for you to find yours. Sailing into the deep waters of sleep. Deeply. Slowly. Into the quiet mystery. Good night. Leave the dry, cracked earth of the desert behind now. In your mind, feel the air becoming warmer, thicker, and heavy with the scent of fresh water. We are traveling to the edge of Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, where the Catatumbo River meets the vast, dark waters. It is midnight, and the world here is illuminated by a light that never truly goes out. Imagine standing on a small wooden pier. The water below you is as smooth as black silk, reflecting the deep indigo of the tropical sky. Above, the clouds are not dark and silent, they are alive. There is no thunder to shake your chest, no rain to drench your skin. Only a silent, rhythmic dance of light. This is the Catatumbo lightning. A storm that has raged for centuries, appearing for up to 160 nights every year. It flashes up to 28 times per minute. Lasting 10 hours at a time. It is the most persistent lightning on Earth, a lighthouse made of pure electricity that has guided sailors for generations. As you watch the flashes in your mind, let them represent the quiet firing of neurons in your brain. Soft, distant, and naturally calming. Each bolt of light is a release of tension. A quiet spark that illuminates the dark and then fades into a deep, velvety peace. The science of this eternal storm is a perfect harmony of the Earth's geography. The Andes Mountains surround the lake on three sides, creating a giant natural basin. During the heat of the day, the tropical sun evaporates the lake's water, filling the basin with warm, moist air. As night falls, cool mountain breezes sweep down from the peaks, colliding with the warm moisture rising from the water. This collision forces the air upward, rapidly, creating massive cumulus clouds that reach miles into the thin atmosphere. Inside these clouds, ice crystals and water droplets rub together, generating a massive static charge. It is a battery that never runs dry. But why is it so silent? Often, the lightning occurs so high in the atmosphere, or so far away across the vast lake, that the sound waves dissipate before they can reach a human ear. It is a visual symphony, a storm that has forgotten its voice, choosing instead to speak in colors of violet, blue, and brilliant white. For centuries, this phenomenon was known as the Beacon of Maracaibo. It guided travelers home through the darkest nights when no moon was visible. It was a constant, a promise of direction in an uncertain world. Let this lightning guide you home to sleep now. Think of your mind as that mountain basin. The thoughts and worries of the day have risen high into the clouds. And now, they are releasing their energy, one flash at a time. Each flash leaves your sky a little clearer, a little darker, a little more still. The Catatumbo storm does not seek to destroy. It is a creator. It is one of the planet's largest natural producers of ozone. While you watch its silent beauty, it is busy repairing the very atmosphere we breathe. It is healing the sky while you rest. Feel the cool mountain breeze coming down from the Andes now. It carries the faint scent of tropical leaves and distant rain. The flashes are slowing down. The clouds are becoming heavy, soft, and gray. The Beacon of Maracaibo is dimming, signaling that it is time for the world to dream. The lake is still. The sky is vast. And you are drifting into the velvet darkness, supported by the ancient rhythm of the earth. Deeply, peacefully. Sleep now. Leave the electric skies of the lake behind. Feel the air become thin, crisp, and cold. We are climbing now, high into the Andes Mountains of Peru and Bolivia. Up here, at 4,000 meters above the sea, the wind is a constant companion, and the silence of the peaks is profound. In this harsh, rocky landscape, lives a plant like no other, the Puya Raymondii, often called the Queen of the Andes. It is a giant bromeliad, a relative of the pineapple, but it possesses a patience that is almost beyond human comprehension. Imagine this plant growing slowly, very slowly, in the thin mountain air. It spends 80, 90, sometimes over 100 years simply existing as a rosette of sharp, spiky leaves. A century of watching the sun rise and set over the snow-capped peaks. A century of enduring the freezing nights and the intense high-altitude sun. Think of that level of patience within yourself now. There is no need for immediate results. There is no need to rush toward a goal. Like the Queen of the Andes, you are allowed to simply grow, to simply be, for as long as you need. Feel your breath becoming as steady and slow as the life of this plant. Each year, it adds only a fraction of an inch to its height. It is waiting, gathering energy from the soil and the sun, storing its strength for one singular, magnificent moment. And then, after a lifetime of waiting, the miracle happens. In its final year of life, the plant suddenly surges upward. A massive stalk of flowers begins to grow, reaching 30 feet into the sky. It produces thousands of creamy white blossoms. A literal tower of life that stands against the backdrop of the rugged mountains. It is one of the most spectacular sights in the botanical world. For a few brief weeks, it is the center of the universe for high-altitude birds and insects. It gives everything it has, every ounce of energy stored over a century, to this one glorious bloom. And then, as quickly as it rose, its work is done. The plant scatters its seeds to the mountain winds, and then it dies. It is a life of total dedication to a single purpose. A reminder that beauty does not have to be frequent to be meaningful. Visualize that tower of flowers now, glowing softly in the twilight of the Andes. The white blossoms seem to hold the light of the moon. As you lie in the stillness of your room, let the story of the Puya Remondii soften your heart. We often feel we must bloom every day, we must be productive every hour. But nature tells us otherwise. There are seasons of growth that look like standing still. There are decades of preparation for a few weeks of brilliance. Your rest tonight is part of your preparation. You are gathering your strength, you are nurturing your inner self. You are allowing your soul to grow in the quiet dark, just like the roots of the Queen of the Andes. The mountain wind is whispering through the dry grass. The stars are sharp and clear in the thin air. The giant plant is silent now, its seeds drifting away on the breeze to find a new home. You are safe in your own high sanctuary. The world is patient. And you can be patient too. Slowly. Deeply. Blooming into a dream. Sleep now. Now, let the cold mountain air of the Andes soften. Feel it becoming humid, salty, and thick with the scent of the sea. In your mind, you are standing on a rugged coastline, watching the Pacific Ocean stretch out into the horizon. The waves are rhythmic, washing over the rocks, pulling back, and pushing forward again. We are going beneath the surface now. Don't worry about the weight of the water. Feel it as a gentle, cool embrace. As you descend, the sunlight begins to filter through the waves in long, shimmering beams of emerald and gold. You have entered the great underwater forest, the world of the giant kelp. Imagine these massive, golden-brown vines rising from the seafloor, hundreds of feet below, reaching all the way to the surface to touch the sun. They do not have stiff trunks like the trees on land. They are flexible, graceful, swaying in the ocean currents like dancers in a slow-motion dream. The giant kelp is one of the fastest-growing organisms on our planet. In the right conditions, a single strand can grow up to 2 feet in a single day. Think of that incredible vitality. While you are sleeping, while the world is quiet, these golden forests are surging upward. Fueled by the energy of the tides and the minerals of the deep. As you lie in your bed, let your breath mimic the sway of the kelp. Back and forth. Gentle and rhythmic. The water supports the kelp, just as the bed supports you. You don't need to hold yourself up, you can let go, and let the current carry your thoughts away. Within this forest, there is a hidden city of life. Sea otters wrap themselves in the long, leafy fronds so they don't drift away while they sleep. Tiny fish hide in the shadows of the stalks. Brilliantly colored sea stars cling to the holdfasts at the bottom. It is a sanctuary of silence and safety. The kelp has tiny, air-filled bladders at the base of every leaf, little balloons that pull the plant toward the light. They are the plant's hope, always reaching, always climbing. But even as they reach for the sky, their roots are anchored firmly to the ancient stones of the ocean floor. Be like the kelp tonight. Feel your roots deep in the earth, grounded and secure, while your spirit floats lightly in the cool, green water of your dreams. The ocean is a vast, blue cradle. It is the beginning of all life. Listen to the muffled sound of the water. The distant hum of the deep. The forest is swaying. The light is fading as the sun sets over the waves. The sea otters are tucked away in their kelp blankets. The world below the waves is settling into its nightly peace. You are floating. You are weightless. You are drifting into the deep blue. Slowly. Quietly. Submerged in rest. Sleep now. Leave the swaying kelp and the emerald waters of the ocean behind. Feel the air become thin again, but this time, it is dry, and carries the scent of ancient resin and sun-baked rock. We are traveling to the White Mountains of California, to a place that feels like the edge of the world. Here, in the high altitude, where the soil is alkaline and the wind never stops its whistle, live the oldest living individual organisms on our planet. The bristlecone pines. Imagine a tree that was already 1,000 years old when the Great Pyramids of Giza were being built. A tree that has watched empires rise and fall into dust, while it quietly added a single, thin ring to its trunk, year after year, century after century. Some of these silent sentinels, like the one known as Methuselah, have been breathing for nearly 5,000 years. As you lie still in your bed, let the concept of ancient time settle over you like a warm, heavy blanket. In the presence of such history, the worries of your day become small, like grains of sand in a vast desert. There is no need to rush. These trees have survived by being slow, by being patient, by bending instead of breaking. Visualize the shape of a bristlecone pine now. It is not a tall, lush green tree. It is twisted, gnarled. Its wood polished by thousands of years of wind-blown ice and sand. Much of the tree may look dead, but a single, narrow strip of living bark connects the deep roots to a few tufts of green needles at the very top. It is a masterpiece of survival. The wood of these trees is so dense, so resinous, that even after they die, they do not rot for thousands of years. They stand as silver ghosts on the mountainside, beautiful in their endurance. Feel your own strength tonight. It is not a strength of force, but a strength of persistence. Like the ancient pine, you can endure the storms of life, you can withstand the cold, and you can find peace in the simple act of breathing. The mountains are silent now. The sun has dipped below the jagged peaks, leaving a trail of orange and violet light across the sky. The bristlecone pines are settling into another night. Just one more night in a journey of 2 million sunsets. They do not fear the dark, they have seen it countless times before. They know that the sun will return, and until then, they simply rest. Let your mind become as quiet as the mountain air. Your body is as rooted as the ancient wood. Your thoughts are drifting like the high-altitude clouds. 5,000 years of silence. 5,000 years of peace. wrapped in the wisdom of the trees. Safe. Timeless. Asleep. Sleep now. Leave the ancient, wind-swept mountains behind now. Feel the air become soft, warm, and fragrant with the scent of tropical jasmine and damp limestone. We are traveling to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, a land of hidden worlds and emerald jungles. Imagine walking through a dense thicket of trees until you find a perfect, circular pool of still, turquoise water. This is a cenote, a natural sinkhole that leads deep into the Earth's prehistoric past. We are going to dive into one of the most surreal places on our planet. Cenote Angelita. As you descend into the clear, cool water, feel the world above fade away. The sunlight filters down in long, shimmering needles of blue, illuminating the white limestone walls. You are floating in a cathedral of water, weightless, and profoundly calm. But as you reach a depth of about 30 meters, something impossible appears. Looking down through the crystal clear water, you see a river, flowing along the bottom of the cave. It has its own banks, its own fallen trees with skeletal branches, and a thick, swirling mist that looks like a ghostly fog hanging over the water's surface. How can there be a river beneath the sea? How can there be fog deep underwater? The science of this miracle is a beautiful lesson in layers and density. The top 30 meters of the cenote are filled with fresh rainwater, light and clear. But beneath that layer lies heavy, salty seawater that has seeped in from the ocean miles away. Where these two worlds meet, a thin layer of hydrogen sulfide forms. This is the mist you see. It is a cloudy, opaque barrier that separates the fresh from the salt. To the human eye, it looks exactly like a mystical river flowing through a haunted forest at the bottom of the ocean. As you lie in the quiet of your room, let the image of this underwater river soothe your mind. Life, too, has its layers. Sometimes our thoughts are clear like the surface water, and sometimes they are deep and mysterious like the salt water below. And sometimes, there is a mist between the two, a place of transition. You don't need to clear the mist tonight. You can simply float above it. Imagine yourself drifting along the banks of this silent, underwater river. There is no current to fight, no waves to push you back. There is only the slow, rhythmic pulse of the earth. The fallen trees at the bottom have been there for centuries, preserved by the lack of oxygen in the deep. They are monuments to a time long forgotten. Just like them, you are safe here, protected by the layers of the world. Feel the cool pressure of the water against your skin. It is a cocoon of peace. The jungle above is full of life, birds calling, jaguars moving through the leaves, but down here, in the heart of the cenote, there is only the sound of your own heartbeat. Slowly, rhythmically, deeply, you are sinking into the softest part of the night. Through the clear water, past the misty river, into the deep, salty silence of sleep. Rest now. Safe. Submerged. Still. Good night. Leave the hidden, misty rivers of the cenote behind now. Feel the air become a soft, salty breeze, moving gently over the warm Caribbean Sea. It is a moonless night in Puerto Rico, at a place called Mosquito Bay. The sky above is a deep, velvety black, but the true stars are not in the heavens tonight, they are in the water at your feet. Imagine stepping into a small boat, and as your oar touches the surface of the dark water, a burst of brilliant, neon blue light explodes around it. Every ripple, every splash, every movement creates a shimmering trail of liquid stars. It is as if the ocean has swallowed the Milky Way, and is now breathing it back out in pulses of electric turquoise. This is bioluminescence, one of nature's most ethereal and hauntingly beautiful displays. As you lie in the stillness of your room, imagine your breath as that gentle oar. Each slow inhale and exhale creating a soft, pulsing glow within your mind. A light that doesn't burn, but cools and settles the spirit. The science of this glowing sea is a miracle of microscopic proportions. The light is produced by millions of tiny organisms called dinoflagellates. They are so small that you cannot see them with the naked eye, but together, they transform the entire bay into a living, glowing organism. When the water is disturbed, a chemical reaction occurs inside their tiny bodies. A protein called luciferin meets an enzyme called luciferase. In an instant, a flash of cold light is born. It is 100% efficient light, generating no heat, only pure, radiant energy. Scientists believe they use this light as a silent alarm, a way to startle predators or to call for help in the vast darkness of the sea. It is a reminder that even the smallest, most fragile beings have a way to shine when the world grows dark. Visualize a fish swimming through the bay now. It looks like a glowing blue comet streaking through a dark universe. When a rain shower begins, each individual raindrop hitting the surface creates a tiny, sparking diamond of light. The entire bay begins to shimmer and hum with silent, blue fire. Let this blue light wash over your thoughts tonight. It is a cool, calming fire. It doesn't ask for anything, it doesn't require effort. It is simply the response of life to the rhythm of the water. The world is full of hidden light. Just because it is dark outside, doesn't mean the light has vanished. Sometimes, we just need to be still enough to see it, or move gently enough to wake it up. The bay is quiet now. The boat is drifting. The tiny organisms are resting in the deep, waiting for the next touch of the tide. You are drifting too. Floating on a sea of liquid stars. Your body is light. Your mind is a soft, blue glow. Fading into the velvet dark. Deeply. Peacefully. Into the glowing dream. Sleep now. Leave the glowing, blue waters behind now. Feel the air become dry, hot, and filled with the scent of sun-baked sand. We are standing in the heart of the Sahara Desert, in a place called the Bodil Depression. Here, the ground is white with the remains of ancient, dried-up lakes. Imagine a massive wind beginning to rise. It picks up the fine, mineral-rich dust from the desert floor, lifting it high into the atmosphere. Lifting it high into the atmosphere. Millions of tons of dust are swirled into a giant, golden cloud that stretches for thousands of miles. This dust is embarking on an incredible journey. It is crossing the vast Atlantic Ocean, traveling from the hottest, driest place on Earth to the wettest and most vibrant, the Amazon rainforest. As you lie still, imagine your breath as that steady, global wind. Moving effortlessly across vast distances, carrying something precious from one part of your mind to another. You are part of a giant, interconnected system. Nothing in nature exists in isolation. The science of this transcontinental gift is a miracle of chemistry. The dust from the Sahara is rich in phosphorus, an essential nutrient for plant growth. In the Amazon, the heavy rains constantly wash away nutrients from the soil. Without a fresh supply, the world's largest rainforest would struggle to survive. But every year, 22,000 tons of Sahara dust fall over the Amazon basin. It is a natural fertilizer, a gift from the desert to the jungle. The death of ancient lakes in Africa provides the life for the giant mahogany and kapok trees in South America. Visualize the dust falling now. It settles silently on the broad, green leaves of the canopy. It washes down the trunks during a tropical storm, reaching the roots that are waiting in the dark earth. The desert is feeding the forest. Think of how your own life is balanced. Sometimes you feel like the desert, quiet, still, and perhaps a bit empty. Other times you feel like the rainforest, busy, lush, and full of energy. But even in your desert moments, you are preparing a gift for your future self. Your stillness today is the nutrient for your growth tomorrow. The wind is calming now over the Atlantic. The golden dust has found its home in the deep green shadows. The Amazon is breathing out the oxygen that the rest of the world breathes in. The Sahara is resting under the heat of the stars. The cycle is complete. You are safe in the middle of this great global rhythm. Your body is heavy. Your spirit is as vast as the ocean, connecting the dry places with the lush places. Everything is in balance. Deeply, slowly, into the quiet connection. Sleep now. Leave the transcontinental winds and the falling dust of the Sahara behind now. Feel the air around you becoming still, perfectly balanced, and profoundly quiet. We have traveled from the microscopic universe of a teaspoon of soil, to the ancient, weathered branches of trees that have seen 5,000 years of history. Tonight, for our final journey, we are not going to a specific place. Instead, we are looking at the invisible thread that connects every miracle we have witnessed. The unbreakable resilience of life. Imagine a seed, small, hard, and seemingly lifeless. It can sit in the frozen ground of the Arctic for centuries, or in the scorching sands of the desert for decades, waiting. It does not complain about the cold, it does not fear the heat. It simply holds the blueprint of the entire universe within its tiny shell, waiting for the exact moment when the first drop of rain touches its skin. As you lie in the absolute safety of your bed, feel that same resilience within yourself. You are made of the same stardust as the ancient pines, the same minerals as the sailing stones, and the same water as the underwater rivers. You are a part of this planet's long, beautiful story of survival. The science of life is a science of adaptation. We have seen how the Puya Remondii waits 100 years to bloom, how the Catatumbo lightning heals the atmosphere while we sleep, and how the desert dust feeds the rainforest thousands of miles away. Nothing is ever truly lost in nature, it only changes form. A fallen log becomes the cradle for 1,000 new fungi. A dried-up lake bed becomes the stage for the sailing stones. Every ending in nature is simply a quiet, hidden beginning. Visualize the entire earth now, glowing softly in the dark velvet of space. It is a living, breathing organism. It is pulsing with the heartbeat of billions of microscopic lives, the swaying of the kelp forests, and the silent growth of the deep woods. As you drift closer to the final edge of wakefulness, let go of the need to understand everything. Nature does not explain itself, it simply exists. It is patient, it is timeless, and it is endlessly full of stories that we are only beginning to hear. You have traveled far tonight. Through the soil, over the mountains, under the sea, and across the deserts. Your journey is now coming to a gentle rest. The world is still here, patient and steady, waiting for you when you wake. But for now, there is only the silence. The deep, nurturing dark. The softness of your breath. The weight of your dreams. You are safe. You are loved by the earth. You are home. Deeply. Slowly. Into the infinite wonder. Sleep now. Good night.